Hey friends and family, Jenny and I are putting together this video to share with you some of the God story behind our decision to follow the Lord and move our family and the core of our pioneering team at Catalyst Training School, our ministry, from Tacoma, Washington to Franklin, Tennessee, starting this July of this year. We're eager to share this story with you this afternoon.
And before we get into that, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has supported us these last 8 years through financial gifts, prayer, encouragement. It definitely has been a blessing and has allowed us to fulfill our call to the next generation.
Yeah, we really feel like this is a strategic move for, of course, our call to the next generation and to multiply Catalyst schools in different parts of the nation and the world. It allows us to be more centrally located in the United States and as well in vicinity and in direct partnership with Steve Fry, a mentor, friend of ours, and pastor of the Gate Fellowship, and actually the Gate Church and Messenger Fellowship, which is an apostolic network from around the world, leaders from around the world that I've been a part of for a number of years now. But more than that, we also feel like this is a real divine setup and a strategic move for our family. And so, honey, can you take a little bit to share on that?
Yeah. When we were there a couple weeks ago in Franklin, it's my first time ever being there, and walking around, it definitely felt like home. Sometimes here I feel a little bit out of place in the Northwest, but there really felt like home.
Home for you. The diversity in the Northwest feels like home for me.
Yes.
That's neither here nor there. We're going to keep going.
Yeah. And I just really could see our family doing well there. They have great schools, great communities, great neighborhoods. And there are a lot of fathers and mothers in the Gate community. And so I'm really looking forward to the mentorship opportunities that are there for me personally and for our marriage and for our family.
Yeah. Many of you know that Jerry and Peggy Fry, who are Steve's parents, have been based here in Tacoma, Washington for the last decade, more than a decade. Actually, they've been strategic mentors of ours in the last 5 years, and we've been blessed to glean from them a rich deposit of revival in the ways of God. And we feel like this decision to move to be near Steve and the ministry, which is really fruit of Jerry and Peggy Fry, we feel like it's another step in the journey of the family kind of story that God's writing for us. And now for the God story. Many of you guys know that last March, this time last year, we made a real radical decision to postpone our upcoming discipleship school. We felt that God was stopping us to seek his face and to listen to the word of the Lord and to prepare a pioneering team, a team of next generation leaders who would come together to see Catalyst schools, missional discipleship training communities multiplied around our nation and around the world. So we literally stopped everything in order to see that materialize. It was a huge faith step. Before we had made announcement in our community in Tacoma that we were doing this, at the end of March, I was on a trip to El Salvador for ministry. And while in El Salvador, I met with a prophet friend there named Juan. And I asked Juan for some ministry. And not knowing our season or where we were at or the decisions we were making, Juan began to share a prophetic word to us. And it's a word that we're seeing materialize today. He said, Adam, your ministry is not ending. He said, instead, God is moving it like he would move a family in order to keep in step with the Spirit. He said that Catalyst will grow not as I lead one school, but that as I father the leaders, the next generation leaders of Catalyst schools. He said that he believed the reason I was traveling so much for preaching was he believed that I would soon be discovered, in his words. He said that there would be an apostolic man who would hear me preach, and God would immediately give this man a vision for how our ministry would partner with his. And Juan said, it'll be from the Lord. He said that the invitation will come really soon, but it'll be 1 year to 2 years before you begin to walk this out, because it'll take that time to lay the foundation for what is Catalyst. So we came home with this prophetic word in our hearts and made the announcement to our local community that we were not going to move forward with the next discipleship school for the purpose of the things that God called us to. And it was just weeks after that I received a phone call from Steve Fry. Steve had just heard me teach a session at the Messenger Summit in Orlando a month earlier. And Steve's conversation with me went like this. He said, Adam, ever since you taught the session on the Ministry Center at Messenger Summit, I've been praying for you, and another executive team member, Joe Del Torre, we've been praying for you, and we want to submit to you a God idea, an idea that could you franchise Catalyst schools and multiply them in other churches around this nation? He said, I really believe you have a model for training and equipping the next generation that would be very useful and replicable in other ministries. And Steve didn't know it, but he was literally walking into the fulfillment of the word Juan had given us just weeks before. I went out to meet with Steve and Joe in Franklin that August while we were on sabbatical. That same week, I met with a dear friend of ours, Brian Brent, in Southern California, who, when he heard this story, he said, Adam, when are you going to move to Franklin? At that point, to be honest, I was not even thinking about moving to Franklin. Yeah. It was really far removed from my mind. We love Tacoma. We love our church family at City Central. We love our community here. Our best friends are here. And yet that comment and those meetings began to provoke some question in my heart. And it was at the end of November when I began to get antsy, and I wanted to answer the question with the Lord. Lord, are you calling us to relocate? That day I made the decision to dedicate the 21-day season of prayer and fasting in January to answering the question with God, are you calling us to relocate? If so, where? And that same day I made that decision to dedicate those 21 days. I get a call from none other than Steve Fry, and he's talking again about the idea of Ministry Center and the idea of multiplying Catalyst schools. It was just the Lord, you know. We went into the fast in January, and on the first day I received a dream. Man, God's so good to speak to us and confirm our pursuit of him and affirm our pursuit of him. He's in the dream, the interpretation, the simplicity of it was, Adam, you are moving forward in the due north of all the things I've called you to do. He said, but you need to upgrade your vehicle. If you don't upgrade your vehicle in this next season, you're going to get taken out. We were alarmed by this dream, but not afraid. We knew that God was in this idea of us assessing our do we relocate? Do we move on from the season that we've had in Tacoma, which we love? By the way, our elders at City Central and our family here are 100% behind this decision. They've blessed us from the beginning. They've been involved in this process since last March. And before I even contacted Steve about this wild idea of us moving out there, I really submitted this idea to our elders and said, if you guys think this is the Lord, I want to pursue Steve. But if you don't, I want to yield to God's wisdom in you. And of course, they blessed it. And we are so thankful for our family here at City Central. Nevertheless, at the end of the fast, the 21-day season, we felt like the Lord affirmed this growing desire in our heart to move our family and our ministry, the core of our ministry, to Franklin, Tennessee. As you know, our dear friends and Catalyst team members, Shane and Elizabeth Rowley, are moving their family to Berlin. So we have pioneering team in Berlin. We have a pioneering team who will be operating in Franklin. We want to plant long-term pioneering team members in Tacoma to continue Catalyst schools here, as well as grow them in other parts of this nation. As we make this transition, a couple things to note. We are actually in the early stages of founding our own 501c3, Catalyst Ministries, Adam Narciso Ministries. And we are moving into a season where we're going to be 100% self-supported missionaries or fundraise-based missionaries. Right now we're half. We're moving to a full-time reality. And we're going to invite you and everyone else to join us in this journey in prayer and, of course, financial support as we seek to significantly increase our missionary support, our monthly gifts at this time. And you can find more information on that and what we're raising, and the figures, and as well as ways to give at adamnarciso.com. Again, adamnarciso.com. There's some of the God story behind our move. Pray for us. Pray for our family. Pray for our kids. Pray for our church family here in Tacoma. Pray that God's abundant grace would be poured out on this transition. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for walking with us as we seek to fulfill the call of God on our lives to the next generation. We love you.